All right, welcome to day 3. I've seen a few of you now. It's been nice. Okay, so today we're looking at TLC is greater than 1. TLC is greater than 1. So the only difference in day 2, that leading coefficient right here was 1. And today, it's not 1. So the process is going to be the same. We're still going to make the x, find the numbers that multiply to the top, add to the bottom, but there's just going to be one more step that we have to do in order to finish our answer. Okay? And so it's not going to be too much more than yesterday. So if you understood day 2 really well, you're in business. But if you didn't get day 2 at all, day 3 is, of course, going to be hard, right? That's how math works. So, first off, just a little warm-up, okay? So things you have to know. How to multiply these different monomials. So x times x. Don't say 2x, it is x squared, okay? Be really, really careful with that. 3x times x, that would be 3x squared. 4x times 2x, multiply the numbers first, so 8. X times x is x squared. And 5 times x is 30, x squared. Okay? Should be easy. Alright, so, first thing. General form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So if your leading coefficient is not 1. So I don't like to think of it this way. I like to think of it as, here's the general method. If the leading coefficient is 1, we get to do yesterday's stuff. Okay? But this is fine too. So, if the leading coefficient is not 1, identify your a, b, and c. Okay? So a is 2, b is 7, c is 3. And then, like I taught you yesterday, you need to find AC, a times c. Now yesterday it was just 1 times c, but today it's a times c. That's why it's called the AC method. That's what we're learning today. Okay? So a times c in this case is 2 times 3, which is 6. Okay? So in this problem, what I want you to do is make that x. On top goes a times c, and on bottom goes b, just like yesterday. We're going to find two numbers that multiply to the top and add to the bottom. Okay, and that's great. So on top here goes 6, on bottom goes 7. Okay. So once you understand that AC is the difference, it's the same process as yesterday, right? So same thing, find the factors of 6. So we have 6, that's 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. Find the combination of those that add up to 7. In this case, it is 1 and 6. Okay? 1 times 6 is 6. 1 plus 6 is 7. So far, so good. Now, here is where the difference comes. Right here. This is the change. Because yesterday, the answer would have been x plus 1, x plus 6. That's not going to work here. So here's the only difference from yesterday to today. Because the leading coefficient is not 1, you need to do some rewriting. Rewriting. So we're going to rewrite the problem, except for instead of 7x, we're going to write plus something x plus something x plus 3. We're going to replace that 7 with these two numbers. So put those numbers right here in those slots. Okay, so we have 1x and 6x. Now notice if you went back a step, combine like terms, we have 2x squared plus 1 plus 6, that's 7, right? X plus 3. All we did was take the 7x and write it as 1 plus 6. Nothing crazy mathematical there. Nothing super fancy or really mysterious or anything. We just broke up 7 in a specific way. Okay? So nothing crazy. Now is what we're going to do is called factoring by grouping. Okay? Now I know this seems like a lot, but it's not, okay? All you're going to do is do the GCF method twice, okay? Twice. You're first going to take your hand, my hands are hairy and I'm sorry, but you're going to cover one half the problem. You have 4 different terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We're just going to do the left 2, okay? So I'm going to underline that in blue here to start with. We're going to do those 2. Out of those 2, we're going to take out, the numbers are 2 and 1, greatest common factor is 1. And x squared and x, so we can take out an x. And out of those 2, if you took out an x, you'd be left with 2x plus 1. Okay. Now, in the red, purple, pink, whatever color this is, this section, plus 6 and 3, greatest common factor of those 2, that's 3, right? So 3 here. Take out a 3, 6 divided by 3 is 2. X plus 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay. So we kind of divided it down the middle right here, and we did this side and this side completely separately. This would still work out. If you multiply this in, you get this stuff again. Okay? Notice that these two pieces right here match. They have to. If they don't match, we did something wrong. Okay? Now, out of those two, all you have to do is take out that 2x plus 1. If you factor that out of both pieces, you could cross it out, and you'd be left with x, the front stuff, plus 3. And that's your answer. Okay? Now, it seems really crazy, but we'll do it again, and it won't be too bad. All right? So make sure you get those steps written down. Again, the product is the top one, 6. The sum is 7. That part's all the same. The only part that was weird is the factoring by grouping, which you did learn last year, but it's been a while. Okay? So make sure you get all the steps. If you wanted to make sure your answer was right, you could check it, right? FOIL it back out, multiply it back out. But so far, so good. Okay? Let's do another one. So we have 3n squared plus 14n minus 5. A is 3. B is 14. C is negative 5. So then A times C is 3 times negative 5, which is negative 15. Okay? Make the x. On top goes negative 15. That's A times C. On bottom goes B. That's 14. Okay, I got to find numbers that multiply to negative 15 but add up to 14. So my answer for that is 15 and negative 1. That step could take you a while. We talked about that in class. If it takes you 5 minutes, who cares? Okay? That's just your speed with factors, your speed with multiplying. Doesn't matter to me. Okay? Use your calculator, whatever you got to do. Find all the factors of 15. Figure out which pair adds up to 14. Now we know one of these has to be negative because we have a negative 15 here. So that's our numbers, 15 and negative 1. So now we go to the new step for today, right? We're going to rewrite this problem, 3n squared plus, instead of 14, we're going to write 15 minus 1. So we have 15n minus 1n minus 5. We have rewritten that part of the problem. Now, a common question, does it matter if I do 15n minus 1n or minus 1n plus 15n? It does not matter. Okay? You will get the answers in a different order if you flip them around, but that's fine. That's completely fine. Okay? So now, out of the first two, I take out a 3 and an n. That's the GCF method that we learned the first day. 3n squared divided by 3n is just n, plus 15 divided by 3 is 5, n's cancel. Okay? N plus 5. Now, out of the next two, we can take out a negative 1. That's it. And you'd be left with a positive n plus 5. Again, these two have to match. If they didn't match, we knew we were wrong. Okay? So, these two first, then these two. Okay? Now, out of both of those, we can take out that n plus 5, then write what the remainder is, whatever's left. So we have 3n minus 1. Final answer, done. Okay? And if you want to check it, you certainly can. How many are left? There's a ton. We're not going to do them all. Okay? Let's do the next one. Okay, no, let's put this in here. Negative 15 goes here. B goes here. I prefer the x. Okay? I think the x is a great visual for you to do. Let's actually skip this one. Let's go on to the next page. You have a bunch of examples. I do want you to do these. Do on your own. If you have time in class, we'll check these, okay? Let's do just one of these, or two of these. Let's do these left two right here, okay? So, make the x. On top goes a times c. So 2 times 6, that's 12. On bottom goes negative 13. Go ahead and find the numbers that multiply to 12, add up to negative 13. Okay, they both got to be negative. So we're going to have negative 1 and negative 12. Negative 1 times negative 12, that's positive 12, right? Two negatives makes a positive. Negative 1 plus negative 12 is negative 13, so perfect. Rewrite the problem. Okay, rewrite the middle. Factor by grouping. Okay, factor the first two. Out of the first two comes an x. You're left with 2x minus 1. Out of the next two, remember, these have to match. So we're going to take out a negative 6, and you're left with 2x minus 1. Now they match, and we're perfect. And so we get 2x minus 1 out front, x minus 6 second. Okay. That's it. So once you get the pattern, you get the idea going, you can do them pretty quickly. Okay? All right, let's do one more. Let's do this R one. Okay? make a block, or make the x. On top goes a times c, so negative 36. On bottom goes b, negative 5. Numbers that multiply to negative 36 but add up to negative 5. Let's think really hard here. 6 and 6, no good. 1 and 36, no good. 2 and 18, no good. 9 and 4, 9 and 4. So 9 and 4 in some combination. Now it's negative, so I know that one of them has to be negative. I'm going to make the 9, because negative 9 times 4 is negative 36. Negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. Okay? So, middle step, rewrite that middle piece. Like so. Now factor by grouping. Out of the first two, we can take out a 3r. You're left with 2r minus 3. Out of the next two, we can take a 2. Left with 2r minus 3. Again, these two need to match. Then, take out that 2r minus 3, assuming they match. And you're left with 3r plus 2. Okay? So once you get the hang of it, super, super quick. Alright, so just, I wonder if I have scratch paper anywhere. Probably not. Let's go in the back of this. Okay? So something to keep in mind. From yesterday, if we had like, what's a good example? Hold on. X plus 3, x plus 2. That would be x squared plus 5x plus 6. So yesterday we had this, and that was TLC equals 1, right? And this is why I would teach it in the opposite way that we taught it. So what you did is you did this. Now, remember, this is 5 years down the road, you forgot everything except for the AC method that we just did today. So now you're going, oh yeah, there's a trick if the leading coefficient of 1 is 1, but I don't care. So what you could do, a times c, so 1 times 6 is on top, on bottom is 5. Well, we need 2 and 3, right? Because 2 times 3 is 6, 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay? Now, I don't remember that trick that Mr. Larson taught me, so I'm just going to do the method that I know. I'm going to rewrite the middle as x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6, just like we did today, just learned this today. Factor by grouping. Out of the first two is x, x plus 2. Out of the next two is 3, x plus 2. And you end up with x plus 3, x plus 2. Just like you would have yesterday. So the trick that we learned today will apply to yesterday. It takes you all these extra steps, but it works, okay? So what we're learning today is the actual full method. Yesterday was a special case of this method, okay? So make sure this method is the one that sticks home for you, okay? Thank you for watching. Good luck with the rest of them. Make sure you get all these done. It's important that you practice this. I know it sucks, but it's worth it, okay? It's worth that time. Thanks for watching.